Friendship supreme. Friendship supreme. Finding the geek within. Mortal Kombat. Today we're talking Mortal Kombat, everybody. My name's Cleve.
My name's Michael, and this is Friendship Supreme. Like, that's it.
We watched Mortal Kombat. What'd you think, man?
Man, I really liked it. I don't think there was a couple moments I was like, oh, this is kind of hokey, but like,
out of 10, what do you give it?
Like, for it being a Mortal Kombat movie, out of 10.
What does that mean? For it being a Mortal Kombat movie,
a video game based.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Game. I'm, in comparison to all other video game based games, I would say it was like an 8. I don't know that there was a lot that I would have improved on. I appreciated them doing what they did and trying to give some sort of new character. I actually appreciated that. Like, I know that we said, oh, here's this new character. Like, what are we going to do with it? But like, I appreciated that it was a build off of like the lore, and it was like, oh, well, this is Scorpion's bloodline, but like it also being a whole new character with different powers that nobody else has had before. Essentially energy dispersion, which is
Black Panther.
Thank you. I was like, there's somebody recently that I've seen using something similar, but energy dispersion, and like, I don't know, I thought it was an interesting concept. Also, we never actually had Mortal Kombat.
That frustrated me so much. There was no Mortal Kombat to be had.
I'm sitting there watching the timer like, fuck, man. Like, I don't think we're going to have a tournament, guys.
Never was there a tournament. We just fucking sideswipe people.
Never is Shang Tsung going to be like, it has begun.
Right. I that part really bothered me. I'll be honest with you.
The only thing I gave it credit for doing that is that like it made sense when he was like, oh well, like Shang Tsung's never followed the rules, and thus why would he now?
But are you telling me all 9 times that they won the tournament, the Outer Realm, we never were like, hey, you were really fucking this up? Like, there's no Mortal Kombat. And so Rock the Arts, Julian and I were talking about the movie, and I'm like, do you have to win 10 in a row? Do you just have to win 10? Because if I win the next one, you guys are screwed.
According to the like original lore, it was 10 in a row.
Okay.
You had to win all 10 in a row. And then, I don't even think it was 10 back then, but it was in a row specifically.
Why risk anybody until like 6 or 7? And then I reset the counter, and then we train for 5 more years. Like, why send these guys out? Right? Like, obviously, these guys have to fight right now because you're out of time. But on the 5th loss, I'd like regroup. And, and some people are born with the tattoo. So, Cole...
He was the only one ever born with it.
Okay.
He was specifically the only one ever born with it. Everybody else is chosen at some point, or like somehow it just appears on them. But he specifically brought up that he was the only one from birth that had it.
Because I was like, Cole, like, I mean, you should have been ready for the tournament at 3.
Shit. But in fairness, at one point in time, he was a good fighter, which I think is interesting. We never discussed. I wish, that would have been nice. I wish they would have at least kind of explored why Cole stopped being good at what he was good at. Because at one point, they're like, oh, you took the belt from the champ. And he was like, that was a long time ago.
So
why? What happened?
He won the belt from Eddie Tobias, which is the 2 names of the creator of Mortal Kombat, which is Ed Boon and John Thomas, which I thought was nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, but you know what? I gotta be honest with you. I know that you like the idea of a new character. I did not enjoy it at all. Like, to me, it was like I'm following this guy who, as a fan of Mortal Kombat, I wouldn't. If I didn't know anything about Mortal Kombat, I'd be just fine. But I'm just invested in this random new person.
I think that's fair that there's a ton of there's a ton of characters we could have easily picked from. and it would have been just as like you could have just slotted them in and it would have been fine.
There's plenty of mainstream. It could have been. You could have cast this guy as Striker. He could have just been like a low budget cop that does MMA on the side. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the roster is big enough to where we could have used anybody else. You know, like just give the fans a little bit extra.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But I'm not super against it, and I like the guy, but it was, I don't know.
I just felt like it was something slightly new that they could have added that was, different instead of. I think that they were just worried about falling into the exact same one that they had already made, and so it was nice to give something slightly different. I get what you're saying. Like, yeah, they could have used somebody. I mean, they could have used something fun like Noob Sabat and been like, "Oh, it was actually a person underneath it this whole time."
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like Striker, it could have been.
Yeah.
Or who was the guy who could see? Who was the blind guy with the blindfold on?
Oh, I do remember him.
That could have been why he wasn't fighting anymore. But he was still the chosen fighters, and he could have done a thing.
Yeah, it could have been something. I don't know how you want to go about talking about this movie. I really liked Cabal.
He was really good.
They did him.
He was really good, yeah.
And I thought for a brief moment, like that voice actor sounded so familiar, and I went and looked. Nothing that I have known him from.
The only weird thing about him to me was that there was the Outer Realm and the Earth Realm, but he knew Kano from the Earth Realm.
Because a couple of them kind of seemed that way. Well, and it was a nice tie to like make Kano switch over.
Mm-hmm.
Was that like it was almost like he was hired as a mercenary? So I saw it as that, like Shang Tsung was like, "Oh, look at this fucking murderous sumbitch that lives on Earth, and I want to use him to murder other people."
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize that was part of the rules. So, what's funny, Louis Tan, the Cole Young, was cast as Kung Jin and the web series for Mortal Kombat X Generations that never ended up coming out. So it's funny that he gets to now be in this new blockbuster movie when he posted a photo of himself like full gear, like ready to shoot. And apparently there's episodes out there. I don't know if you remember the Mortal Kombat Legacy web series.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty good for the time, especially. Yeah, there were some parts of Cole that kind of took me out of it, but I didn't mind it as much.
Yeah, I mean, he was kind of hokey, and there were certain things that was like, okay, like his ability to dispatch Goro so quickly.
Yeah,
the moment it was like, I've got my thing, the special thing that they said, and then all of a sudden it was like, I just fucking annihilate Goro.
Well, the fact that you're not dead from what Goro was doing to you, because he was rocking your world for quite some time.
That's
There's
like
not a broken rib somewhere. So I didn't know in the trailer. I didn't remember seeing Goro, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was about to play the movie, and you know how on HBO Max, like pictures flashed through. I saw him, and I was like, "Oh, that's a really exciting thing that I would have been excited for. That got ruined." Thanks, HBO Max.
Yeah, I don't know. I get where you're coming from. I don't think that you're wrong. I rarely think you're wrong completely, but I think that they could have done more fan service, but I think that for story purposes and pushing it to be an entire series, which I think they want to do, I think that it was the right call to create a whole new protagonist.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with it. And I mean, there's plenty of people who are just brought up for one version of the story. You know what I mean? Like just taking the liberty to create a new person, and
he doesn't have to be in the Melina. I don't. What a weird character to bring in. I mean, she's a popular character, but like,
and not Kitana though, her twin sister, because they put references of her because they had her blue fan in there.
Yeah,
but not her.
I was unfamiliar with the guy with the hammer. I don't. Oh no! Now that I think about it, never mind. Oh no! I'm thinking of Shao Kahn.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know who the guy with the hammer was. I'm not familiar with that character, but I'm not also very super like well versed in the newer Mortal Kombat series.
Yeah. And Shang Tsung never got to say it has begun.
He did not get to say it has begun because it never began.
Right.
I no, I mean like part of it was there were certain parts that were like, oh, okay, I don't really understand. Like the logic didn't work out. Raiden randomly being able to just teleport anybody he wanted to any location was kind of weird, but like I guess at the same time that's cool.
He was finally played by an Asian actor. That was cool.
He was. In fact, he looked familiar. He looked like the Chow Yun Fat, I think is his name. I don't know what's his name. The guy that plays in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
I know who you're referring to. I'm not sure, and don't want to come off as racist.
I probably just did.
You're Asian. It's okay.
Yeah, Chow Yun Fat. Okay. So that's who it looked like. I don't know who it actually was, but that's who it looked like to me.
I guess we can
give
that man his credit.
Too young, so
when he listens to this, he probably wants to know. Nope, can't say that name. Tadanabu Asano.
Tadanabu Asano.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I would have said that.
So okay, so you liked Cole. I was about Cole. What'd you think of Sonya?
I actually thought she was really well played.
I thought all the story arcs are meh, but I feel like
fair.
She has probably one of the better ones.
I love
not being a chosen fighter.
Yeah, I liked her getting sidelined a couple times and not being the chosen one, and then getting her redemption and essentially earning her mark.
Back to Cole one time. I feel like we didn't have to do the family thing. You know what I mean?
It was supposed to. I think
it could have been. This whole thing could have been solved with a girlfriend. You know what I mean? Not a whole. I have a whole ass family, like a daughter.
Yeah, but I think it's supposed to be like the bloodlines continuing on, blah blah blah. Yeah. Because that was the big important thing to Scorpion.
I don't think it ever confirmed it was her kid.
I thought it wasn't at first.
I don't remember hearing her say dad.
Yeah, but then later on, I feel like that was implied that was in fact his kid. I really liked Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
Well, and what's so funny is that's common lore. I feel like is there two clans that don't get it wrong. Yeah. I don't think I ever put together that one was from Japan and one was from China.
Yeah,
I thought that was really cool. And the whole movie could have just been about those two. Yeah, it would have been fantastic to me.
They did do that once. Well, sort of. They did a video game all about Sub-Zero, and it did terribly.
Yeah, but both of them is what I said.
Oh, right. Both of them. Here's what I appreciated about this one was in the, I think, animated that I remember, and in the second movie, as well as the video games, I feel like they make Sub-Zero out to be more of a heroic character, and Scorpion was much more the villainous character.
I was gonna say that. Yeah. Well, I mean, he goes to hell and comes back.
I was saying, even in this, he goes to hell, but like he's still, realistically, as far as the main actor or the main character is concerned, he's a good guy. I think Raiden even is like, oh, thank God. Mm-hmm. I mean,
Raiden helps him get there.
Right. He was a warrior for Earth. So, like, I don't know. I think that was an interesting turn to make that change.
Only one thing bothered me about Sub-Zero. And it was when he was talking to Shang Tsung, and he was like, go do this, Bi-Han. And he's like, I'm no longer Bi-Han. I am Sub-Zero. I'm like, this was in 1617 that you killed Scorpion. Like, does he not know that you go by Sub-Zero now? Has not enough time passed? Did you just now create the name Sub-Zero? Because you've been freezing things for quite some time. And that was a big thing that this movie did, that video game movies do, that bothers me, is each character has said their own name at least once. Call me Jax. Like, yeah, it bothers me that you can't organically introduce themselves. Kung Lao, Liu Kang says he's Liu Kang's introduction was easy enough because it was like meeting new people. But yeah, that always bothers me. Is when they say their names unnecessarily. When Scorpion was like, "I'm the Scorpion now," and like disappeared.
Like you had to explain to us that the one screaming "Get over her" was fucking Scorpion. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I
like it could have been that was like, oh, that's that's the curse of the Scorpion or something. You know what I mean? Like, there's better ways to bring it up than just I'm gonna say my name. I guess it's polite. It just bothers me.
As much as I appreciated the new power, I guess, or ability that Cole has, I did want some sort of tie-in with that weapon. Like, I recognize that, it's not the animated, live or CGI sentient creature that they gave us in the original Mortal Kombat
from your hand. Yeah,
but like that is an actual weapon that is used in martial arts and would have been something cool to kind of like, because he gave it to him and I'm like, oh cool, like he's gonna like start using it, and it was like I used it as a knife, and
or it could have been like the new Scorpion, like
right.
I'm carrying on the weapon from my family.
My hope is that because either you or I organically found it that the Sub-Zero actor was signed on for four movies.
Yeah, I think you found that out. I don't think I saw that.
So he is contracted for 4 movies under the same title. So the idea is that we are going to get a series out of this, or a saga or whatever out of this. And my hope is that is the development, that like we're going to.
They let you know that very quickly by taking his dead body away in black smoke.
Right.
Don't worry about it. Nobody really dies here.
But yeah, the idea, him saying that death is just the first part or whatever. But I'm hoping that like that is what it is the development of here is a new Scorpion that we get, and then he does train with this weapon. But I just thought it would have been cooler how to use that weapon instead of his. I'm not familiar with the weapon that he has, but it essentially reminds me of nightsticks, but one has a knife on it. I don't know. I although I guess if you think about it, with the giant plate of armor that essentially takes all the damage you take and redisperses it, you would want close combat instead of distanced combat. So maybe it makes sense. I don't know. I think the characters that they used for the villains were fun. I think that the character,
that chick with the wings, I do not recognize that character whatsoever. This could have been a new character for the movie for all I know.
I don't think she was, but I agree.
I found out that Joe Taslim, the guy that plays Sub-Zero, the director had to ask him to slow down for the camera because he was doing his shit too fast, because they have actual something that always bugged me about the originals, the first 2. Not a lot of martial arts going on in those 2 movies. Like, it was maybe a little bit of boxing, a little bit of shuffling the feet, but no real actual martial arts whatsoever. And I didn't realize the kunai knife was like a Japanese peasants used to use it like a multi-purpose gardening tool.
It's farming tool.
Yeah.
Same
you
thing
don't see
with,
it like that in anything.
Same thing with size. And God, what
size I know, because but I've seen people doing that little motion with it.
No, like the 3-prong, like Raphael size SAI.
Oh, I'm thinking scythe. My bad.
And then also the one that's similar to that. It's like I don't remember what they're called. It's a pole about this big with the knife, the blade that comes off of it. But that is used for what you're talking about.
Scythe, right?
Yeah, similar to a scythe, but they're smaller, so I don't remember what they're actually called. But anyway,
yeah, I know what you're talking about. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Michelangelo used it with a chain on it.
But any of the Japanese tools that ninjas used were often used as farming, because that's who originally originated as a ninja, was farmers and shit.
I was waiting for Scorpio to get back, and I get that it was at a climax and it was good, but man, I needed more of their interaction together.
Yeah.
You remember my face, you motherfucker, because I'm coming back.
Yeah, when he kept seeing his 2 or 3 times, he saw Scorpions, or I can't remember his real name anymore. Hakashi, I think.
Um, Haroyuki. No, that's their actor's name. Um, Hanzo Hasashi.
Hisashi. Okay, so yeah, he kept seeing his face, and like
Just
I thought
Hanzo's
that
easier.
that was when he was gonna like essentially begin possessing his powers and having like his abilities, and kind of, and nothing. We got fucking super armor suit, which again I actually think is a cool idea, or cool concept to give a new power or whatever. But yeah, I don't know.
That's the thing about a new character. I can do the fuck I want to with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would have been cool if it was like a bloodline thing. Like I can use it now, even if he used the fucking one that he just tied a knot to, because that was amazing. But I guess also you can't just. This guy's like an MMA fighter, so being up close and grappling, because he took Goro down with like a fucking leg tackle, and I guess all of a sudden being able to use this. Let's be fair, you can't just give any martial artist a rope with a knife at the end and expect them to do amazing with it.
But
Kane, maybe.
I think that the heroes you can pick for the Earth realm are unfortunately like minuscule. Like we have a certain pool, and that can kind of make it boring.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like Jax, I like Sonya Blade, but like I've seen them in every iteration of Mortal Kombat because I have to see them in every iteration.
Yeah, they're always What did you think about Jax?
That was cool. I thought it was cool that like, so I don't know if this is a part of the lore where like when you're chosen you suddenly get powers, and that's because I thought that was actually kind of a cool way of explaining it, because like here we are on Earth where that doesn't happen, and they're trying to make you believe this is still Earth, but like
how you just get powers
shooting
now
lasers out of their eyes
from the thing,
the dragon, right? Yeah. And so like I think that's kind of cool, and I liked, because like they started building his arms, and like, okay, well, like how are they going to have the technology to do this in the middle of fucking nowhere with, whatever? And so the fact that like that
Iron Man did it in a cave with what's the rest of the line? I can't remember. Keep going.
But I think it was cool that like his superpower was essentially just enhancing his skeletal
I thought that was
arms.
Odd. Because had he not lost his arms,
what would
then have been the power?
Being encased in metal like Colossus.
I could have taken that, yeah, I guess. But yeah, I felt like you kind of got gypped on your powers because it cost you your real arms.
Poor Jax, man.
Yo, they fucked him.
No matter what, in every iteration, we got to have him getting his arms ripped off.
Well, I mean, it's the story.
Yeah, I guess.
It's your tale. Batman's parents always die. It's just how it goes.
One time it was Goro. Then it was Sub-Zero, and I don't remember the third one. There's 3 different ways that he's had his arms broken off in different like storylines, and like.
In the movie, they just gave it to him because he thought it'd be cool.
And like in I think it's one of the video games, they show Goro ripping his arms off and like going into detail of how that went.
I sometimes wonder what the original actor of Jax is doing now, because it's not movies, right?
I don't think it was movies before or after. I liked Jax. I did like that they made Sonya not be a chosen one in the beginning.
I like that they were like investigating that shit and like looking into Mortal Kombat and like tracking it down. I thought that was really cool. But also, how are they paying for these things? I guess the military retirement. I don't know. I thought it was cool that they were both, were they supposed to be together in this, or were they supposed to just be cool?
I think they were just cool. Like they served together.
Because it seemed like they lived together.
I think that was just like their hideout, and they were there together in the hideout. He's been in 24 different films, sir.
No, my apologies.
Nothing that you'd ever know. Eraser. He was a WITSEC op.
Oh, okay.
He's a guard in a lot of things.
I like that Cole's like, combat's not even spelled right. What are you? Did you know? Did you know that it was supposed to be called Mortal Kombat with a C, but they thought that there was like difficulty secured in the title, and Steve Ritchie was like, which is like one of the designers for the game, was like, just spell it with a K.
Yeah, that sounds right.
The creator was like, that sounds interesting, and I think that it would draw in some people. And now Mortal Kombat with a K.
Forever, it's now spelled with a K. That's so fucking funny. I really hope that they've learned their lesson from Street Fighter specifically that we're not going to get a video game based off of the movie that's based off of a video game.
I thought you were gonna say where we give one character their own movie, like Chun-Li.
We
Because
could
that
do
also
that.
didn't go well.
Yeah, we could do that, but I don't know how well that would go.
It could be handled right.
Maybe just like the story of, you know what I would like to see is when Scorpion was a part of the Mortal Kombat. When Hanzo actually fought in it.
I would like to see a Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, that's fair. Here's the thing, like I just thought it was genuinely like more true to the game as far as like the combat went, like things that happened, the blood.
Yo, that blood was a bit of that like AMC blood, like Into the Badlands.
Yeah.
But okay.
I just think like, as opposed to, if you remember, if you will, go back to the 90s and remember when Sub-Zero came out to show a demonstration for Shang Tsung and all the other fighters and was fighting just henchmen. And he sat there with his belt and was like absorbing, like spirit bombing his dick with a fucking ice bomb. And then one of the guys came running and he went like this. He went poof. And like it just kind of went out and then froze him. And it was like just super boring, as opposed to, you know, this fucking Sub-Zero who's like, here's a sword, pop, stab, stab, stab. Like, I don't know. It just felt way more like the video game. Right. You had Kung Lao's fucking hat. It was intense. Just absolutely obliterated things as it hit them. Raiden was fucking way cooler in this. Like, don't get me wrong, I like Highlander, but. And
very like, you got it.
Yeah. Very uninvolved. You got it.
Yeah, as he should have been. And instead of like, oh, I got a haircut and a vest, and now I'm going to fight with you guys.
Well, and then like, rather than Liu Kang just being some random fucking martial artist, like Liu Kang was a part of the Light Temple and like had like actual powers and shot fire and did the dragon thing, and it didn't look shitty. And like, part of that has to be chalked up to like the way we can do things now in comparison to the way we could do things back then. But at the same time, like the vision back then just didn't feel. They were real safe with it when they did the first one, and then the second one they tried to get wild with it, and then it fucked it up even more. But
they knew they would go with that money. I thought Shang Tsung was very boring.
Agreed. He'd probably be the only character I didn't really.
But he did take that soul, and that was terrifying. What did you think about Liu Kang and Kung Lao? You thought they were cool?
I thought Kung Lao looked super familiar, but I looked again at his IMDb and couldn't find anything that was like popped out.
Liu Kang's the only one that I knew that I'd seen before. He was the Black Ranger, the Power Ranger movie. The new movie.
Oh, a new one. Okay. Like the newest one. Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
I liked them. I thought Kung Lao, like the way that they showed Kung Lao like teleporting with his hat was cool. I enjoyed that he died because he was real cocky, you know, and Liu Kang was like, well, fuck, the person that we were really holding out on was died. What the fuck?
The guy that was supposed to really win this for us isn't here anymore.
Well, and I liked Liu Kang's story, and I don't know how much that has to do with like the actual Mortal Kombat games and stuff, but like his story about like he was like, I'm just a common kid, like Kung Lao was like this royalty, and he's going to be the one that saves us all, and blah blah blah. He's like, I'm just some shitty kid they took in off the street.
How long were you waiting for that bicycle kick though?
Fuck man, they did it so much better than the original.
You know what? I thought that Liu Kang was really soft, but not in a negative way.
He
was a lot more. Yeah, like you were saying, like he was supposed to be just a punk kid.
Yeah,
like not really seeing the value in himself.
And I think again, now knowing that Sub-Zero was re-signed for multiple film contract, like I have to imagine that we're really going to see character development coming.
Yeah,
for like specific like fan favorites like him, and potentially maybe Scorpion will come back. I don't know.
Melina,
Scorpion's chain, man, that thing was fucking badass.
Yeah,
with the spikes all the way down and stuff, it was really well done.
Melina was fine. She didn't really have a lot to do.
I enjoyed Melina being in it in general.
I thought she was nice and sassy, and it's funny because like Jennifer didn't know, and the blood was like all the way up the face, like the Joker. And she's like, "What's with her mouth?" And I was like, "Yeah, you'll see it eventually."
Oh yeah, when they did that, I was pumped. Like I saw the face, and I'm like, oh okay. Like
I think
maybe
I
we're
would
just...
have liked her to have a mask, and then
That's fair.
to remove the mask and do the mouth thingy.
I appreciated the way that they did Scorpion. Like when he would remove his mask and would talk, and then he was like, "You thought that the fires would get me," and he's like, "Nah, I controlled that shit." And all of a sudden, his fucking whole mouth turned into
Yep.
like fucking skull demon. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
The original, the actor, sorry, sir, Hiroyuki Sanada. Apparently, to prepare for the role, played a bunch of Mortal Kombat video games. And he said, "Of course, I was beaten every time, just losing. But I kept at the games to keep learning the story, the background, and the characters. It was so much fun."
Good for him.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Random, yeah.
I saved this man for last because I probably enjoyed him the most. Kano was
fantastic,
just a great character, played by an actual Australian actor this time.
Did he not just remind you of Fuse?
Yes, the whole time.
Someone said to me, they're like, that was Fuse, and I'm like, oh shit, like I genuinely was like, oh, that makes sense, that's the same person, that checks out, and like didn't do any research on it, and then like I told somebody else, I'm like, no, that's not the same person. I'm like, oh, let me go look into this real quick.
I laughed at everything, just about everything he did, except the Kano wins. That was kind of cheesy, but
the whole thing,
I get it because it went into the video game. But
at one point he's like, "Did you punch the heart out of someone?" Because I did.
I like when Liu Kang's like trying to explain to him the powers, and he puts his hand on his shoulder and he goes, "The fuck, like, get the fuck off me." He had no attitude, like no time for anyone. It was great. And then he tries to steal the amulet, which apparently is the amulet of Elder God Shidok. So that information's out there for you. I did find out that there's a man named Derek Shalavi who was in the Mortal Kombat Legacy as Kano that was supposed to come back for this version of Kano, but he had passed away before production. And then I found out that Trevor Goddard, who played Kano in the film, also passed away like early. Oh, wow. It's kind of weird that, I mean, people pass away every day.
Like, don't play Jesus kind of thing.
Yeah, like, so as excited as I would be for the role, if I knew that before, I would be understandably concerned.
Agreed. So the one that was just in this one, or the one that was in the previous film, like the original film?
The original film, he passed away in 2003. Oh, wow. And then there was a guy who did the web series, and he passed away. Okay. He was supposed to come back to be actual Kano, which was supposed to be so great for the fans.
Okay,
but see. Wasn't there.
No, this Kano did amazing.
Can we talk about how my daughter is just letting me get my ass kicked and doesn't want me to tap out?
What a fucking champ, bro. When she was like, "Don't tap out."
Like, bro, yeah, you can be a champ while you're not getting your fucking face punched in. I'm miserable.
So she made him a friendship bracelet.
Bro, he had, I don't know if you've ever been in this situation, but
I've never MMA
from the MMA background, when someone's got your legs wrapped and got the other arm and he's just laying into you and you can't block it. First of all, the ref's only supposed to let that go like 10 hits and then they're supposed to stop it. But don't tap, dog. I'm dying. And then he started wrenching his fucking neck. Dog, like, don't tap. I understand I'm not a great fighter anymore, but I've lost this fight. Like, there's no miraculous slip that I'm gonna give this guy and get my feet back underneath me. I'm done on this one. Put the L on the column and let me move to the next fight.
I've seen a clip and where a man had a perfect armbar executed, and it looked like he could have broken that man's arm off, and instead that man lifted him up and threw him into the side of the cage. Anything can happen, Cleve.
Not today. Not when you're already like, I'm not that great a fighter.
Right?
Maybe if this man had,
Maybe if he had his metal suit.
Yeah, well, yeah. I
Would
like
you?
when Cole's wife was like, maybe Jax killed that thing. Talking about Sub-Zero, I'm like, bitch, this man made it snow in July. You think this military man? I felt bad for him because he's like, I did 4 tours in Iraq and got fucking swept.
Yeah, it's World of Rock.
Speaking of swept,
The sweep kick.
did that not take you back to the games?
Yes, it did. That's what I'm saying. Like, they had some moments in that were like, all right, I appreciate you for doing your homework here.
Yeah. When it was Kano, right? Liu Kang just kept sweeping him.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked when Kano was partying with Cole. He's like, no, I think I see it. And just kept hitting him in the face. Yeah, man. Kano was great in this. To me, Sub-Zero and Scorpion and their whole thing and Kano, to me, I think made this movie.
That's fair.
Everything
he came out, he's like, you know those things about serpent staffs, they just don't make them the same way. I'm like, what the fuck?
How'd you feel about Reptile? He was like
weird,
maybe 2 levels above the Reptile from the first movie.
It was weird, but like, I guess it kind of makes sense.
He was like a big Komodo dragon.
Yeah. I really like the way they did Cabal. I enjoyed that character. The guy with the hammer, I don't know. Girl with wings, I didn't know. I knew Melina. Sub-Zero, I knew. Jax, Sonya, Scorpion, Liu Kang, Kung Lao. I knew all of them. I'm excited. The little teaser at the end of Johnny Cage.
Yeah. How sad were you when poor Jax was trying to use those little punk ass arms for the first time? And he's like,
when the hammer guy's just whooping him with it.
No, I'm talking about when he was like trying to train, and so he was like talking him through it. I'm like, he can't even lift these things.
No, I loved when fucking he was fighting the hammer guy, and the hammer guy whooped his ass, because he's got those frail little arms, and suddenly he comes, he's like, I want that guy again. It's like, I got some escort to sell. He shows up and just fucking rocks his world and does the super clap on his head.
I think it's funny that we hold the grudge against this guy, not the man that took your arms.
Fair. Well, I think that he knew he still couldn't really handle it.
I want to be tough, but
right.
It's like, about all that.
I'll take like the second biggest guy.
I also like that that they're going out for people with the markings and killing them. So when Cole gets the opportunity to go home, he goes home. Like, okay, well, they're gonna try to murder your family, FYI. And then he's like, I thank you for being his inspiration. And like, bro, and then they sent out the man. They didn't send out some bullshit ass chick with wings. They sent out fucking Goro.
Goro, he showed up. He's like, Goro, thank you for showing up. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm thinking like, fucking Cabal's gonna show up to whoop Cole's ass, but no, it's fucking Goro come plowing out of his farm. The only thing I think that like genuinely annoyed or upset me in this whole film, because the rest of it, like, from a place of ignorance, I just really enjoyed the film. Was the Sonya Blade pride thing. At one point in time, they were doling out like, okay, you're gonna go fight this person, you're gonna go fight this person. And he goes, Sonya, and she's like, please tell me I get Melina. And he's like, no, like, I got a different idea. Like, obviously you're gonna go fight Kano. Bitch, you don't have any powers at all. You ain't got nothing going for you. You want to fight the fucking bitch with the 300 teeth and fucking...
But that makes sense to me because it's the person that kicked her ass. And so it's like...
But Kano also kicked her ass.
Jax did the same thing?
But Kano also kicked her ass earlier. And Jax has giant jackhammers of arms now. Sonya still has nothing.
Which time are you referring
to? He had amino
acids.
Thinking
about when they were in the desert and he was like, well, come take the symbol then.
Yeah.
And she kicked his ass. She kicked his ass in the desert.
No. So there was when she tried to like train with him at some point. I feel like he actually beat her and fucked with her. And then when they were, remember, that's what it was. I'm sorry, this is when it was. In fact, it's the same scene that you're referring to. Melina tackles her, stabs her with her sign, and says, you know, got the mark. That's not the taste of the blood. Fuck you. You're not worth it. And dips. And then Kano shows up and goes, you're still good enough for me. And takes his finger.
Right.
And then starts beating the shit out of her.
Thumbing her fucking wound. Yeah, that's right.
and he beat the shit out of her. Like that, yeah, you're like, I want to go after Melina. Melina fucking rocked your world immediately. You might have a chance to get to Kano, but I'm gonna tell you now, the demon chick from hell is not gonna be the one you want to fuck with.
I mean, the second she got her powers, she fucking blew her back out.
Yes. Because she got fucking those magic ring things.
Yeah,
which I love that they gave those to her. Like that's
Right.
from the game, but like I just enjoyed the like
That's from the game. Yeah.
from the game. But no, I don't know. Like I said, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good film. I'm excited for what could possibly come.
Did you see the Night Wolf and the Aztec reference
Mm-mm.
on Sonia's board?
Mm.
There's a picture of Night Wolf and like a Aztec statue for Catel something. Khan.
Oh, Conan Khan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I only know that character because D'Antonio plays them.
And I appreciate those two little references, even though they fit a lot more characters in than I thought they were going to. Like you were saying, the Cabal, I didn't expect him to be in there at all, and he ended up being great.
And Cabal is such a the original Cabal that I can remember is that bald guy with the demon teeth on his face too. Oh no, that's Baraka.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is Cabal in the first? Oh,
he's got that
game.
mask.
He does have the mask. Okay.
That's the only way you ever see him. The only two other things I got is when Cole saved his family, he put his little gross fucking gym towel on them. Because
but then Liu Kang showed up and was like, "Here, I got fired. Just sit down. It's good."
I know, but it was like, oh, put your
gross washed, maybe.
Sweat towel.
You know what I love?
You ever been in a locker room?
You know what I loved? That his bitch ass still couldn't fucking save his family. The only thing that saved him was the fact that fucking Scorpion was like, "Let me unleash the hellfire that's within me," and they all just melted.
Yeah,
because he's still like punching, like, "I'm gonna get you out. I'm gonna get you out." Like, you're fucking being real dumb right now.
Dog, can you hit harder, or can you just kill the guy and then we can get him out?
Dude, figure something else out, man.
I also like that we still got the big ice room like we did in the original with Sub-Zero. So last little note I have is that Mac Hong, who plays Kung Lao, was a member of Jackie Chan's stunt team. Would pitch ideas for the choreography of Mortal Kombat to make it a little bit better. And he trained himself to use Kung Lao's martial arts style, which is something that he had not done before. Yeah, it's a badass. Yeah, absolutely.
Something super important as far as martial arts is concerned that Hollywood very much doesn't give a fuck about is how different styles can be and what they look like.
I think that's why everyone loves Avatar, The Last Airbender, so much, is because they put so much thought into the fight style and how it would interact with what they're doing.
I think even they're not American films. So yeah, no, you're right. I was going to get into other films, but they're all actually Chinese-based films. So never mind.
It comes from a country of people who would give a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know if you remember the fighting in the first Mortal Kombat, but it was like...
Yeah, it was all fucking Taekwondo.
Sonya was like, hey, yeah. No, was it?
It was all basic-ass fucking white belt Taekwondo. At a tournament in which is determining the fate of the Earth. But yeah.
I think I would give the movie a 7. There was little things that bugged me, but it was better than average, I feel. And for free, which always helps me bump up the score a little bit. Any of these free movies. Wonder Woman 84, I didn't enjoy that one. Godzilla and King Kong, and this one. It's been a good year for us having content.
Yeah, no shit. Well, let us know what you guys thought about Mortal Kombat at home. Did you think it was a fantastic movie? Did you think it was okay? Did you hate it? Because one thing that I thought was interesting is I've heard nothing but super negative shit about this film. Everybody has been like hard on this film, and I don't know why. I didn't think it was terrible. No, it was just all like how it was just boring and it wasn't good. And like I thought, at least if anything, the action was good. The fighting was solid fighting, and
I think once we got out of Cole's family thing, I think
That's
it
fair.
picked up from there.
Again, I think
they were the slower side parts to me.
Yeah, I think if we're looking at it with the understanding that they're hoping to make this a whole thing, it makes more sense that we spent so much time developing Cole. If this ends up just being a one-off, then I think it was a waste of time.
Because really, like I said, I feel like the wife, and even if it was the wife, I'm not sure, but wife/girlfriend and daughter, like it could have been his mom. You know what I mean? Like it could have been his mom's house and him defending her. Mom would have still done the same thing where she tried to swing the axe and stay away from my son and not be murdered. Cole should have died 15, 16 times.
His wife should have died. Getting flung away like that from Goro.
That's fair. And it's like, hey, can you guys fucking go inside? I do like when his wife was like, I don't fucking more four-armed people. Let's go. Let's get this shit and go. Let's get out of here.
The most real reaction ever. Like, nah, someone with 4 arms fucking appeared out of nowhere. We're getting in the car and going now.
Yep.
Let us know what you guys thought about the film. You guys can always let us know and reach out to us via all of our social medias and our email address. What are those, Cleve?
We have a Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, which are all Friendship Supreme, except Twitter has no I's in the word friendship. All I's have to be on the YouTube channel where you go to YouTube and search Friendship Supreme. We also have an email that Michael would like me to drop, which is friendship.supreme@gmail.com. And the Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Friendship Supreme, where Michael and I play games every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 10 p.m. Central Time. And if you're late, you miss certain things like Michael singing and me dancing.
Happens a lot, guys. If you like singing and dancing poorly on both ends, come check us out.
Yeah.
Also, you'll see our P.O. box down in the description below. If you guys ever want to send us things or have us open things, you can. Send me a letter. Someone write me something, please. Things. Yeah, please don't send me anthrax. Thanks. But that's it. I've been Michael.
This is Cleve. Do your best to get over here. Or flawless victory, or finish him, whatever one you feel most confident in. Any
you gotta say them all with gusto. Get over here.
Get over here.
Those kind of a little bit of Macho Man Randy Savage.
Flawless victory.
A little bit of Hulkamania. I'm telling you, brother.
Finish him.
Step into a Slim Jim and finish him.
Oh yeah.